Welcome to our Destination Discovery series. It's the end of September. You have just spent the past month building relationships with your students. You have been building routines. Now it's time to actually dive into some content. So today I'm going to show you a tool that your school has access to that is going to help support any of the content in your curriculum. So let's take a look. First things first, you do have a brand new MTech team. So I'm Nicole Cunningham. I am an MTech consultant, and I joined in April was when I got this position. And my new partner is Joel Christensen. He has been with MTech now for about 2 weeks, and so you have a brand new team, brand new faces. We are here to support you in anything that you need, so please don't hesitate to reach out. We're also running a Destination Discovery series. And so what this is a monthly, quick half an hour. We're going to look at one of the features within our Discovery Education experience and our science tech book to actually dive into how to use that feature, what it can do to support us and our students as they engage with the curriculum. And so if you missed our first day to September 19th, please join us on October 17th. The 19th was more of an introduction into it, and so the 17th we'll be starting to actually dive into one feature at a time. So today we have two learning intentions. The first one is we're going to learn how to find the MTech resources for Discovery Education. We're going to take a look at the monthly highlights that we're starting to build. And then the second intention is that we're going to actually explore the Discovery Education dashboard, and we're going to take a look at all of the features that are on that dashboard to help make accessing resources in Discovery Education simple. So let's continue. So number one, we want to access emerging technology. How do we do so? Well, when you type into your browser and you type myECSD.net, you are going to get access to this particular page. So if you search departments, you'll find it under the right-hand side, there'll be learning services. You can then select curriculum and assessment. Once you've selected that, we are over on this left navigation, emerging technology. Now that was a lot of steps. So if you want to bookmark us to be able to make sure that you access it all the time, just click the star over on this right-hand side. When you do so, it's going to add it to your bar. So you could just say to your bookmarks bar, and it will add a quick link just like I have up above here. Just going to actually go out of it because I already have it saved. And now, of course, when we are in emerging technology, how do we access Discovery Education? Well, you can use the search engine and you can type in Discovery and it will pull up the actual site. Or you can also just go to EdTech Tools on the left navigation and you can select Discovery Education. Now on this page, you're going to find a few different resources for you. Down along here, we're going to have some educative support, so getting started with Discovery Education. Some other timely resources that link to their quick page that they have accessible for you. The Spotlight on Strategy, Instructional Strategies, these are amazing. And then some different professional learning opportunities. If you continue to scroll down, you're also going to see that we have some subject-specific resources available and some subject area channels. So these are actually all throughout. These are just a few of them. They have other topic area channels that are also available. And then, of course, just some hot topics like English language learners and social emotional learning. And then there's going to be video supports at the bottom to actually help you set up a classroom, how to navigate the search component of Discovery Education, etc. On the far right-hand side, you can see that there's the September highlights. So the October highlights are actually going to be built today, and you'll be able to jump into those. So if I select September highlights, for example, just to show you, when I go here, you're going to note that there are some really great little tidbits of information, quick links to some of their sites. So for example, academics. What a fantastic channel to go to, especially for our K to 3, K to 5 kind of learners. So you have some different addition ones, some space, race, multiplication. And so you can see there's rounding and ratios, algebra, operations and expressions, real life applications. So just some really great, quick, fun games for learning some mathematics. Now, of course, if I select here on English Language Arts, it will take me to the English Language Arts one. So there's some spelling investigations, synonyms, parts of speech, all of those fun things. There's also some typing and keyboard activities available in here for you to do with your students. Now, this is called a channel, and I'll explain channels a little bit more later, but you do have some other features here too where you can add this to your channel. So if you like something from these Discovery highlights that are monthly, then you can just bookmark it, and I'm going to show you where that shows up on your board. So coming back into our Discovery Education September highlights, there's also different holidays and special events that are available. So you can see here for September that these are the special days. So you'll find the October ones next. And then, of course, as you go down, there are some Discovery Education events that are available, and you can join in on these like virtual field trips. There's also just some STEM learning adventures and many other ones that they have. So every month there's something different and new for you to learn. So always jump in, check out the highlights, and then you can move on and continue using Discovery. Now, the second thing is, how do I access Discovery Education? So learning intention number 2, we're going to explore that dashboard. So the first things first, you need to go to your Chrome browser. On your Chrome browser, so that's the little red, green, and yellow, and so this can be found on a Chromebook, this can be found on a laptop. You're going to access this bookmark bar, our folder up on the top left-hand corner. So they have ECSD bookmarks. When you select this, you'll see Discovery Education is right here front and center for you. Your students would access it the exact same way. So I'm going to select Discovery Education. Once I'm in this space, this is my dashboard. Now, note that if I ever get lost and end up somewhere else, how do I get back to that dashboard? Well, there's this lovely D with an earth over in this top left-hand corner, this little icon. Anytime I select this, it's always going to bring me back to my dashboard. So first things first, we have this little bar of our basic apps that are within Discovery Education. So you won't see the admin dashboard, that's something for me, but you will see my classroom, my content, quiz, studio, assessment builder, explore, browse standards, educator supports. These are the different apps that we're going to dive into in each one of those monthly sessions. So please feel free to join in. You can play with them at any point in time, and there will be individual videos built on our site that support you in accessing each one of these. So just note that this is kind of your home base. This is where you're going to have your classroom with your students. So you can see this here. You can have classrooms and any of the things that you assign to them. Make sure if you have used classrooms previously that you archive them. And so in another episode, you will be able to do that. My content, this is where you can save information. You can save resources, so videos, interactives, activities. You can save them into topic folders, subject area folders, however you would like to organize your folder system. There will also be a video on this. School content, you can also share across your grades. So say, for example, there's 2 grade 5 classes, and if the one teacher made some really great resources and the other one did too, but they have made different resources, then they can share them so that they can be added to each of your own classrooms. There's also the division content area. Now this is going to get cleaned up a little bit. It still has a lot of information from when it was kind of originally first pushed out. So note that this will be cleaned up, but for example, Science Elementary, if you go down to this space, I know that Katarina Campbell, our science consultant, has already been working on some of this. And so if you go into here, she's started to add some resources. So we are trying to kind of do a haul over on this area. So make sure that you check back. Coming back to my dashboard with my little icon, there's also a quiz section. This quiz section is pretty cool as you can actually build quizzes and short answer kind of activities right into videos on Discovery Education. So it's kind of similar to Edpuzzle in that way. You also have access to the studio. This is a really cool place where you can make copies of other resources and edit them to suit your own needs, or you can create your own from scratch. Your students can also create some of these in this space. So note that there's some activity templates that are built in here. They can build their board. So kind of the old board builder is now just called board. And then there's a slideshow where you can build really cool choice boards, kind of like this one. So you can build these choice boards that have multiple slides linked to them. And so if a student was to select science, then it's going to take them into this particular page, and it's going to have a video embedded, a skill builder activity, maybe an additional channel, so Sid the Science Kid for the students to explore additional information, and just an image for that base. So coming back into our Discovery Education again, make sure you click the icon, don't hit the back arrow. There's also an assessment builder, the Explorer, and browsing standards and educator support. So feel free to play with those. And then again, we will have little lessons on them. Now, if you have access to Science Textbook, you're going to see that curriculum pack right here. And so Science Textbook, for any schools that have it, I'll dive into this in another video as well. But basically, this is set up where you can choose your topics, you can choose your outcomes, your all of those components. So note that this is going to be available for you, and then it breaks it down based on the 5 E's. So you're engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So you can, it walks you through a whole unit of activities, and not only does it have teacher notes built in, but it also at the very end, you can turn those teacher notes off so it makes it a little easier, but there's actually activities for the students to do. So as I kind of go through each one, so there's multiple pages in this explore stage here, there's actually activities for me to do. So whether it's an actual investigation, or I'm going to interact with a video, or I'm going to actually have to put some content into here as well, there is a lot available. So kind of jumping back up to the top, going back to our dashboard. Now, there is another section called Recently Viewed. So if at any point in time you visited a site and you forgot what it was called and you want to go back to that particular content, then note you do have this available here for you. So anything that I have viewed recently is going to show up here. If this is too much clutter for myself, I can also just clear it with the Clear History button. There are also automatic educator supports, which have a wealth of professional learning sessions and resources available for you to be able to use Discovery Education to the best that you can. And so note that they have multiple channels. So professional learning now, some social emotional stuff, learning on demand. Now, of course, my favorite, the SOS instructional strategies. And I'm just going to jump into this one for a quick second. And so you'll notice that anytime that you go to any of these channels, there's going to be all kinds of resources available to you. So they usually have like another few subheadings that are kind of blended into here. I could just jump into compare and contrast and get resources for compare and contrast. But I can also scroll through here and it will have SOS learning strategy videos for students. So these are actually to be used with the students, not just for yourself. And then they might have the graphic organizers. So these are the actual graphic organizers there are PDF versions as well as digital versions that the students can actually type right into Discovery Ed and can do the activity. And again, it can be something that you do live with the students on an interactive whiteboard, or something that you can do, you can assign to the students and link it into your Google Classroom or your Microsoft Teams, because they do sync together really well. And so those are some other opportunities. So really, it really does help support us in whether we're doing synchronous or asynchronous learning. And of course, if you're using flipped classroom models, another really great resource to help support that as well, or even blended classrooms, combined grades. And so that's one of the channels and kind of what it looks like. So look for the subheadings down along the way. Once we're done looking at our educator supports, there's my channels. So remember a little while ago at the very beginning, I actually saved the channel Archidemics from the September highlights. Well, here it is. It has been saved to my channels. And then of course I can access these. I can move them around to have my most used ones at the beginning. If I don't want a channel any longer to be in my channels, these Timbits are 3 buttons. They have a remove from my channel, so I can just select this and it will automatically remove it from my channel. Now the last thing that I can do with my dashboard, well, it's not the last, but close, I can edit the home layout. So if I want my curriculum packs, recently viewed, educator supports, etc. in a different order, then maybe I want to have my channels underneath of my curriculum pack, which is my Science Textbook, then I can just easily click and drag, and then I can move it. And so now you'll see my channels is right here for me. So another really great thing. Now, of course, you have your global navigation, which is a lot of the same things that are kind of in that space there on our dashboard. So you have that in our little pancake open on this left-hand side. You also have this quick list. And so a quick list is where you can do a quick save of resources. So if your students are researching a specific provocation that they're engaged in, then they can just save things to their quick list to be able to access again to do their research from. So kind of that initial stage, but also for yourself, if you're searching for resources on a specific topic, you can put them all in here. And then you have options. Anytime you see those Timbits, click them. They're another menu. I can then actually save, and I can then what it's going to do is going to throw it into my content. And we'll jump into that in another video as well. So don't get thrown off by this. But this is what it is this is our quick list. And there's also this search bar. And so you can type into the search bar, you can dictate with headphones. But if I want to look up anything in particular, then I can do so. And so, for example, we have looked up Beatitudes. Now, there are a few resources on this. There's not a lot on this one, but there's a few. I might want to look up the solar system. If I look up the solar system, you'll note that there's all different types of resources. They are labeled. There is a channel that goes with it, and I love the Science Interactive channel, so it might be one I might actually want to add to my channels just to throw it in there. But you'll note that it is broken up into all services. So if you have Discovery Education Experience, it's going to be here, which everyone has. And then Science Textbook is also going to be here if your school site is paying for that license. You can then filter for grade levels, so pre-K to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, and 9 to 12. And then, of course, you can also filter for just videos. So if I just want videos on the solar system, I just select that. If I want interactives, then I select this. If I want activities, I can select this. And again, it will also do the same thing for channels, images, text, audio, and other materials. Now, note, I'm just going to select all. You also have some additional filters, and so I can filter for English and Spanish. Now, this is mostly an American resource. They do have a lot of Canadian content built in here, but because it is an American resource, they're focused mostly on English and Spanish. Now, there are workarounds for accessibility for other languages, and that's something that will be in another tutorial as well. You can also access just resources with closed captions. So if you're looking for that component, you can also access just the quizzes. So I can filter for just those quizzes. If I just unselect it, it will take me back. You can also do copyright. So if you're looking for newer resources, older, so this might be important for the solar system because things are always changing. You can look at the different publishers. So they do have partnerships with multiple publishers for resources. And so this is where you're going to find a lot of really new upgraded videos and content. You can also select for reading levels. So they do have a little bit of a filter to help navigate through this. This is not always available for all the sections. It depends on how much content, what type of content, all of that. You can also filter for Lexile scores as well. So that's more of an American piece though too. So I'm just going to go down. You can of course just turn these all off, and voila. This is your dashboard in a nutshell. So I hope that this at least gives you a little bit of a quick dive in. You can at least be able to access, search for quick resources until you watch the next video. So thank you for joining us on our first piece of the Destination Discovery series, Navigating the Dashboard, and we will see you all again soon.